No.
I mean, as a health economist, I want to look at this a bit different. SHA is 104 billion shillings deep, you know. That's how much so far the country has spent. And for a system to be having these glitches and teething problems, as Dr. would call it, one asks the question, was implementation of SHA or SHIF, whichever way you want to look at it, flawed from the word go? Could it have been avoided if only due diligence went into the process of implementation, public participation of not only Wananchi, but also the hospitals who already have their systems, so that if there are any changes that needed, all these things we're talking about today would have been handled back then before the launch and implementation of the system? From an economist point of view.
Yeah. So it's by design. How SHA was designed is where the problem began. Remember how it was designed at first? It was supposed to be mandatory for every Kenyan citizen to contribute towards SHA. But remember, everyone has a right. You cannot make it mandatory. You have the right of choice. That's the privilege you get because of the Constitution. Number two, they expected the informal sector will come on board to actually contribute towards that SHA. But when you look at what is happening is that only around 890,000 informal sector are contributing towards SHA. Actually, NHIF by the time was transitioning now to SHA, 7.1 million Kenyans were contributing toward NHIF. Currently, as we speak, only 5 billion Kenyans are contributing to SHA. So SHA is still lagging behind. Why? Because when you look at how they introduced the 2.75 contributions, remember it is supposed to be an annual income to the ones who are in informal sector. Then, when you look at the informal sector, how many people have a stable income? Very few people. So the moment the people who have no stable income and you want them to pay contributions, it is not possible. So there is no sustainability. So you realize most of the Kenyans who are in the informal sector contributing towards SHA are those ones having a condition that should be treated. No one is sitting, in their sitting room and say, let me contribute in advance. Then those ones who are contributing consistently are those ones in the formal sector. But remember how it was structured is that every employer is going to contribute to the SHIF fund. But we know the burden of NHIF, that the 30 billion we say that NHIF was not able to pay providers. Remember, the greatest culprit was the government itself not remitting employer contributions to NHIF. So now in SHIF, there are also employers not contributing money to the same fund. Now, also how it has been structured, there is a portion of the SHA that is funded through the exchequer. So when it began, when SHA began, remember there was very minimal funds being allocated to it. Only that in the current budget for this year, somehow funds have increased, but not yet enough. So when you look at all those factors, then definitely it means the cash flow in of SHA and the healthcare cost growth are not much. There's a mismatch already. So that mismatch will already tell you there is a problem and it is not sustainable, because we have to look at the financial sustainability of that system. So the government, when they designed SHA, they did not first resolve how are we going to ensure consistent contribution by every Kenyan citizen. They should have first resolved that. Now, let me even poke a hole further. So when you have a country where this unemployment rate is so high, who is going to contribute to that fund? So our economic system, the government has not solved our economic system. We have not solved our political economy. There is no way you're going to force a Kenyan who has no income to contribute anything. So then they introduce, the worst of it all, they tell you, if you don't have an income, we are going to give you a loan. So fine, you'll take a loan because you're sick and you need the loan. But how will you ever repay that loan once you're well and you do not have an income? You see, already it is not making sense from the word go. And some of us, what we advocated for, why can't we tailor make a healthcare financing system that suits